So good morning. We've just been thrown the keys to the all-new 911 Sport Classic. We are cutting it fine. Someone's going to throw me a helmet, and then what we'll do is send you up the hill with me and then give you a walk and talk at the top. Okay, so here we are, and this never gets old. It doesn't matter how many times you drive the start of Festival of Speed hill climb, you always feel incredibly privileged, and it's always a massively surreal situation as well. So this is it, new 911 Sport Classic. Whoop. You would not think that they have downsized any power. Wow, the immediacy of the throttle response is beautiful. It just suits it. It's absolutely gorgeous. What a thing. Obviously, pedal placement for heel and toe is prime. And you'd think by having that lack of torque compared with a turbo, that it would be a little bit lacking in the punch department, but absolutely not. It's predictably fantastic. Yeah, this thing's awesome. Over the line at a ridiculous speed. I mean, that was 185 over the line, 185 kilometers an hour over the line. I mean, as a manual car, it's just sublime, isn't it? You know, when you look at the specs of this thing on paper, to drive it, you can't help but think it's greater than the sum of its parts. So much punch. You know, Porsche, what can I say? It's a special limited edition car. I'm sure there's some things they're not telling us, because this thing sounds and feels like they've just stepped it up a notch. You know, they've really done the business. If there is such a thing, because it kind of feels like a comfortable manual GT2. Not quite as much sort of sound or, you know, noise from the overall experience. You know, obviously it's designed to be a more beautiful, or dare I say, almost grand touring experience. But let's show you around outside. Well, first of all, one of the things which I just recognized was, as you're driving out of the first glance paddock, generally got windows down, trying to focus on what's happening, but the comments from the crowd, everyone just goes, wow, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? And they're absolutely right. Let's start with this wonderful sculpture here, this ducktail, obviously going back to 2.7 RS era, and this car was inspired by 60s heritage design. And I know we say this a lot on the channel, pretty sure the camera isn't doing this justice, but this particular ducktail, I mean, the way that it follows the contours of the turbo lines is stunning. Now, one of the more unique features of the 911 Sport Classic is it has the wider turbo body, but you'll notice no turbo intakes. So it kind of, back there in this particular area, kind of looks like a wide body GT3. Stunning thing. Wheels are staggered. Got 20-inch wheels at the front, 21-inch at the rear. And these lines here, these are all hand painted lines that follow the contour of the car and ultimately finish up on the ducktail. Now, this is all about the heritage styling. So while it might look like a sort of ducktailed Turbo S from the outside, it's actually all of the exclusive manufacturer styling, like oldie bronze badging, the hand-painted stripes, but it is a total game changer on the interior. Now, we've got houndstooth inserts in the door cards. This is like a cognac colored leather, is beautiful, but it extends through onto areas such as speaker vents here. This is all painted to match the leather exactly. Then we have wood inserts right here, and then the overall interior, I mean, just look at that. What a place to sit. Now, one of my favorite things is the heritage dials. How gorgeous are those? So you've got Sport Classic written here, and you've got this sort of lovely lime green accenting, and also Bespoke Sport Classic scripting. And that wood and the detailing continues on the dash. And also we've got these bespoke vents here, and even the vents look, which articulator move, all painted to match the leather identically. I don't know how they've managed to match that so well. Small things, key holder, bespoke, pouch, matched again, tying it all in, and then really the star of the show is of course this and that. 3 pedals and a manual gear stick, 6-speed. The car has been restricted in torque by I think just over or around about 110 pounds-feet versus a standard turbo. But when you're in it, you wouldn't think it. It is also 70 kilograms lighter than a standard turbo, so there is some benefit in weight saving, because one of the big features is this is now rear wheel drive. That's right, there's no front diff, it's not 4-wheel drive, so there's weight saving from the lack of the additional diff effectively, which would sit here, and there's also interesting details like the heritage badging. But overall, I think one of the reasons that they've reduced the torque is because it isn't 4-wheel drive, and it's manual. It just suits the character of the car not to have quite so much punch. But honestly, compared with a standard turbo, there's not much in it, and I think that's a combination of Porsche historically being quite sneaky with the things which they decide to share with us that they've actually done versus what they put on a spec sheet, because they're always greater than the sum of their parts. So really, manual combined with, you know, just over 540 horsepower. The torque is still incredibly substantial, but it's not overpowering, and I think that's effectively why they've done it. I mean, it's just packed with 1960s, 1970s design inspiration. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, this thing sounds awesome, how can I get one? Well, when I say limited edition, it's not crazily rare, but they are making 1,250 of them. So yeah, if you're interested, better get on the phone to your OPC really quickly. So, seamless transition back down the hill. This is quite cool because the cars go back down much slower than they went up, so people get to see them. But this is as iconic as it gets. Crossing past the house, the iconic statue, which has been installed to celebrate whatever's being celebrated each year. And yeah, this is always, for me, I find a bit of a pinch yourself moment, because to be behind the wheel of something like this, sharing it in an environment like this, well, it's dreamland bucket list stuff, isn't it? Let's face it. Right, this is pretty nuts. I've been asked to sign some crazy things, but the one and only Porsche factory 911 Sport Classic is not one of them. So here we go. This is pretty nuts. On carbon fiber, no less. Here we go. That's an honor, man. It's crazy, but that's an honor.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that.